יאיר, מה שלומך?
שלום, שלום לכולם, מה נשמע? אהלן.
קודם כל, תודה רבה שהצטרפת. יאיר, יש לנו עוד כמה דקות בעברית, לפני שאנחנו עוברים לאנגלית. אחת השאלות קודם כל, שוב, תודה רבה שהצטרפת. אחת השאלות שעולות פה ממתעניינים, ואולי אתה תדע לתת את זה, קודם כל הייתה פה שאלה מטרידה, לפני שאני אעבור לשאלות האחרות, שאלה דור לגבי אנטישמיות, אם נתקלת, ראית באיטליה ספציפית כלפי סטודנטים.
האוניברסיטה כרגע מחוברת או עדיין לא?
עדיין לא, בגלל זה אנחנו בעברית.
אוקיי, בסדר גם. אז הייתי שמח כן לעשות איזשהו to address לבעיה הזאת. ככה, אני אגיד לכם את האמת, וזה באמת מהחוויה האישית שלי כסטודנט ישראלי באיטליה. באופן כללי אנחנו מגיעים למדינה שחייבים לקחת את זה בחשבון כלפי כל אירופה, אני חושב, אבל זה בהחלט ניכר באיטליה. מדינה שהיא מאוד מאוד, איך נאמר את זה, הם מאוד מתגאים בלאום שלהם, במסורת שלהם, בתרבות שלהם, כך שהרבה פעמים אתה מרגיש קצת בחוץ. כלומר, אני לא אגיד שאני הרגשתי, חוויתי איזשהו מקרים של אנטישמיות פר סי, אבל בהחלט יש לך חוויה שונה כאשר אתה זר במדינה זרה, בטח ובטח במדינה כמו איטליה, שהעניין של לדבר את השפה הוא משמעותי, וזה שאתה זר זה משמעותי. לא משנה איך אתה נראה ומאיזה לאום אתה כל כך, זה פחות מעניין אותם, בעיקר מעניין אותם שאתה לא איטלקי. עכשיו, מה זה אומר שזה מעניין אותם? זה אומר שאולי יהיו לך קצת יותר קצרי רוח בתור בסופר פארם, אבל ברמת העיקרון אין באמת איזשהו ביטוי חד משמעי של אנטישמיות, ממש לא, אבל כן, מורכב להיות זר במדינה אחרת. אני חושב שזה חלק מאוד מעניין מהחוויה של לימודים בחו"ל, זה להתמודד גם עם השאלות האלה של, כלומר, איך זה לחיות במדינה אחרת, לא להיות במקום שלך, לא להיות במקום הנוחות, ואתה לומד הרבה מאוד. אני גם מוצא את עצמי הרבה פעמים מעריך נורא את החיים שלי בישראל כישראלי, כתוצאה מההסתכלות הזאת החוצה. בעצם פעם ראשונה בחיים שאני חווה את החיים שלי בוא נגיד איזשהו זר או איזשהו פליט, לא יודע.
אבל יאיר, היו לך אירועים שהם ממש אירועים אנטישמיים? צווי קרס?
ממש לא, כלומר, זה בדיוק מה שאני אומר, זה לא עניין של אנטישמיות, בעיקר עניין של זרות. כלומר, אם אנחנו עם חבר שלנו ויגיע משטרה שתגיד לנו, לא יודע, יש מה שנקרא את המשטרה הסביבתית, זה כזה שוטרים שמסתובבים כמו שיטור ציבורי. אז אם אנחנו, לא יודע, כאילו, הם ישאלו שאלות אם אתה רק חבורה של זרים. אבל אם יש שם איטלקי, אז האיטלקי יצעק עליהם באיטלקית והם ישר ילכו. זה ההבדל העיקרי. אבל שום גילוי חד משמעי של אנטישמיות ממש לא, ויותר מזה יש קהילה משמעותית וגדולה ועשירה של יהודים במילאנו, שהם מאוד מאוד חזקים בעשייה ובקהילה המילנזית באופן כללי. סליחה, זה אלרגיה, זה לא קורונה. ובאמת, אבל אין אנטישמיות כלפי יהודים, חד משמעית לא.
מה דייגו?
מאורה בפאנל, אני לא מצליח, כנראה שאני לא הוסט או קו-הוסט, אני לא...
אני אהפוך אותה לפאנליסט. בוא נראה. היי מאורה. Hello, Maura.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Buongiorno, Maura.
How are you?
Can you hear us properly? Because we are in, as you can see, in a big room. So.
Yes, we see you. I see that you are there and Michelangelo is there, right?
Okay.
Hello, Michelangelo.
Hello, Moshe.
How are you?
Fine. You?
Good, good, good. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for doing this today. We still have people joining, so we can give it two more minutes. Michelangelo, Mawa, tell us a bit about life in Milan these days. Are things getting better?
Yes, in the sense, Milan is very, very, very crowded these days. There was many, I mean, last weekend, lots of people around. They say too many. And now they are discussing, because now we enter in these winter holidays, starting from, because it's Christmas here, so from 24 until January 6th, and they are discussing what to do, because anyone is scared that people normally go and visit parents or go out for shopping during these days. So, I mean, public authorities, they are scared that the contagion will grow very, very fast. So this is at least the worry about these days. So perhaps they will shut down everything in these 2 weeks. We will know tonight after 6.
Okay, but you're going to have a different Christmas and New Year's this year.
Yes. I mean, it should be like this. To have, I mean, I will not go to my father in Sicily, for instance. But they are worried that for many Italians it will not be like this. So they will gather in a big group, in families, having lunch and dinners. And so the point is that because it was like this in the summertime, I mean, this was a full summer in Italy with all the people on the beaches, on the mountains, and as usual. And the result of this was the new wave of COVID-19 starting from, let's say, mid-September. And so they are worried that this could be again during these Christmas holidays.
Okay, let's hope for good news soon, especially with the vaccines that are now coming. We should, here at Humanitas, we should start with vaccination at mid-January, like January 15th. January 15th. Okay. In Israel we start next week.
Yeah, you told me. How is it going in Israel?
As soon as I'm vaccinated, I'm coming to visit you in Milan.
Great.
It's going well. It's I wouldn't say well. I mean, it's stable, relatively stable. And hopefully, with the vaccines, it will get better.
But it's relatively stable also in Italy. I mean, it's stable. The only thing that we are going this huge holidays time, and could be a problem for what is going to happen in January.
Let's hope for the best. So meanwhile, let me introduce the audience a bit. We also asked Romi Nissan from the first year to join. She said that she will join to give the students a bit of the first year experience. And we also asked a student from Pavia to join from a public school. I'm not sure that he will be able to join, but I did collect already some questions from the students that I would like to refer to you. And then we will take some more questions. But maybe before, Michelangelo Mawa, maybe before you can shortly introduce yourself before we start with questions and answers.
Okay, what do you want? Can we do now? Can we start?
Yes, if you can start with an introduction to introduce yourself, and then we will take the questions.
Okay.
Okay, welcome to everyone. I'm Maura and I work as a marketing specialist here in Humanitas. I don't know if you are familiar with our university. We are a medical university based in Milan, in Italy, and we are related with one of the biggest hospitals, not just in Lombardy region, but in the entire country. It's the main one in a network of 9 hospitals. Most of them are located in the north part of Italy. And it's a really point of reference, internationally speaking, for some key areas, as for instance, the oncological, for our oncological department. I'm here with Michelangelo.
Yes, my name is Michelangelo La Torre. I work in Milan University as operation manager, and I take care, let's say, of the students' experience.
Thank you.
And yeah, so this is very in brief, I mean, our short presentation.
Thank you. Okay, so if we can start from the admission, one of the things that our Israeli students have to consider when they apply to medical schools, and I always tell them that, is the timeline. As opposed to public schools who have entrance exams only in September in Israel, Humanitas is offering entrance exams before. So can you speak a bit about your entrance exam and when to apply and how to apply?
Yeah, so maybe I can start giving an overview. First of all, the admission procedure takes place during the same year of the intake. Compared to a public university, it starts earlier because we have the first and the biggest admission test that takes place in February, every February. This year it will be the 11th, and it will be an online test. We also have a second admission test, which is a bit smaller because we have less places available. And this one usually takes place in June. So which is the registration procedure? Usually we open the registration directly on our website a couple of months before the admission test. So you can go on the application page, register for the test. There is a really simple application form that you have to complete and pay online the tuition fee for the admission test, which is 165 euros. Doing that, if you are registering for the test, you have to select just the day of the test, and you're taking the test online, as I told you. Usually after 10 days from the test, we are able to publish the ranking on our website, and we are going to accept the first 50 non-EU students and the first 130 Europeans.
Yes, let me add that we decided to move the test. We used to do I mean, few years ago, some years ago, the test in September, but we realized that in order to be more let's say, attractive towards more motivated students, September is too late to plan about your future life and your future education. So we think that having moved the entrance test in February, this will first of all allow students to better plan about the future, and in our belief, allow us to attract most motivated students.
Thank you, thank you. Maura, Michelangelo, one of the things that are, let's say, in the consideration of our audience in general are the cost. And many students aim to apply for public schools because of the relatively low cost. And then many of them, since the Humanitas exam is earlier, they ask about the possibility to apply to scholarships. So can you speak a bit about your scholarship program? What can you offer to European and to non-European students?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's not a mystery. First of all, let me say something about what is private and what is public university in Italy. In Italy, all the university, no matter if private or public, are subject to the regulation of the ministry. They have to follow certain criteria in the kind of education they provide. The difference is that the main difference is that the public university is funded by the government, and in turn, for students, the tuition fee is low, while the private university, they should fund themselves with the tuition of the students. As I was saying, it's not a mystery that our tuition fees is an important one. And for this reason, we developed the scholarship program, which for non-EU students is based on, we have 50 available places for non-EU students. And we offer 4 scholarship for the non-EU students. The students will pass the test, and provided that he will do a good test, and the students will reach a certain position in the ranking. And after the test, they will sit an interview with the commission of professor. The selected students will get the scholarship. The scholarship will allow the students to pay only 4,000 euros per year, and they can keep the scholarship until the completion of their degree course. So this means that students awarded with the scholarship will only have to pay 4,000 euro from the first year until the completion of the 6 years, which is the degree course in medicine lasts 6 years in Italy, but in most countries. So the students know from the very beginning that okay, I got a scholarship. Now it's up to me, provided that I will be able to pass the examinations and to keep a certain grade, which is, you must be a good student, not the top genius of the world. Then you can keep your scholarship until the students finishes the 6-year program. Also keep in mind that at the moment the competition for non-EU is not as higher as for the EU students, because at the moment, out of 50 available places, we have about 300 candidates, more or less. So the competition is not. I mean, you can understand that studying medicine everywhere in the world is something that many young students want to do after the high school or after the military service. So there is a lot of competition at the moment. For non-EU students, the competition is not so high as for the EU students. Also consider that the choice of having a good slice of our students coming from, not from Italy, was really one of the main, let's say, foundation point of Humanitas University, because we really want to try to be an international university, we are, we put all our efforts in developing only a program taught in English. So we don't have any program taught in Italian. So for us, the English medical program is the medical program. And also we decide, we have tried to have a large number of international students. That's why we decide to have 50 non-EU students each year out of 180 students that we take every year. For EU students, they have to compete with the, they have to make the entrance test with the Italians because, just because of law regulation, there is no any difference between Italians and the EU students. For EU students, we have 6 scholarships, which work with the same criteria of non-EU student scholarship. The only difference that when you see the test, the day of the test is the same, but at the end of the test, we will come out with 2 rankings. One ranking is dedicated to the EU students, which includes also the Italian students. And another ranking is dedicated to non-EU students. At the moment, competition for non-EU students is not as higher as for the EU students.
But if I'm Israeli and I have a European license, do I need to apply as a European or as an Israeli?
You have European citizenship, you mean?
Citizenship, yes, I'm sorry. Citizenship, sure.
You have to apply as a European.
Okay.
According to the current regulation.
Okay, and if I apply as a European, then is my tuition fee different?
Yes, could be, yes. Because for the European, the tuition fee ranges from a minimum of 10,000 euros up to 20,000 euros. There are 4 bands. The lowest one is 10. Then we have 13, then 17, and then 20.
Okay.
Why for non-EU students? These are is Italian university regulation. Why for non-EU students we have only 1 band of tuition fee, which is 20.
Got it. Thank you very much. Romy, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can we see you? Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry, Mama Michelangelo, Romy is your first-year student. And
we know. I know her.
And she has agreed to join us for a short while because she has a lecture. Romy, thank you very much for doing this. Can you shortly present yourself and the university and your feelings and everything you want to say to our audience?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Romy. I'm from Ramat Sharon, Herzliya. And I came here like almost 4 months ago. I fell in love immediately with the university. And basically, I think that choosing this university was a very good choice that I made because I feel like this university really treats you as an individual, and this was something that was very important for me, to feel like they see me as a self, like as another person, as like a student, not just another student from a lot, and as an individual person. And I feel like the first thing that I noticed here, that every little problem that you might have coming here, there is a specific person who will help you deal with it, which is amazing. And I love everything here, really. I love the teachers, the professors, the environment, walking around in the study halls, and just the feeling you have, the vibes there is in the university. All the students from above years, not just the Israelis ones, help all the time. And all the feelings are like, it's just amazing. I don't know if you have any specific question, I would love to answer more like specifically.
Romy, thank you very much. Where do the students come from?
Where did who?
The students in your year, where do they come from besides Israel?
Oh, we have, wow, from all over the world. It's very international, and you feel it like from everywhere. We have from Morocco, Switzerland, United States, French, I think all of Europe, Spain, Russia. I think like so many places, Thailand, Japan, China, like just name the country basically. We have from all over the world, and I feel like for me, as the beginning, I didn't think a lot about like how many Israelis are going to be, and then I remember like 2 days before. I'm sorry for noise, just a second.
I'm just going to add that in my year, we're 33 nations in our class. We counted it. It's 33 different nations, so it's very, very international, as Romy said. Continue, please.
Yes.
So before I came from it, wasn't that important to come to a place with a lot of Israelis. It's something that wasn't important. It wasn't a factor for me to decide by like how many Israelis to decide the university. And then I remember 2 days before that I got a little bit anxious, and like I was thinking, wow, there are not a lot of Israelis. I'm going to be by myself. And then coming here, I understood that it's not it's not like how many people, how many Israelis are here. It's the quality of these people. And I feel like each Israeli here welcomed me in the best way I could imagine. They always give you the best feeling in the world. They give you everything you basically need, and they just want to help. Like I don't feel like I need anything, and they keep on like asking and texting all the time and seeing if I need something, if I need help in anything, and everything that I need, even if they can give it to me, they are looking and turning around, going to search for a solution for me. And the amazing thing is not just by the Israelis, it's also from all the other students. Like really, from third year, I have a lot of friends that are not Israelis and willing to help all the time. And I see them in the halls of the university. They keep on asking me questions and like, how am I doing? And if I need summaries, and everyone wants to help you so much, and it's amazing. It's like, it feels like a family, really. And also in my year, we are 8 Israelis, and I feel like I'm friends with so many internationals that I don't even feel like the Israeli amount of people in matter, if you know what I mean.
Thank you very much, Romy. One of the questions that students keep asking when it comes to Italy, if I'm putting aside the tuition fee, how expensive is it to live there as a student?
Well, basically, I think the dorms here it's quite expensive, but it depends on what kind of room you take, or I think it's between 6 something to 15 per year, thousand. For the dorms. And basically, once you get here, you need to make some basic expense for the basic stuff. But once you have everything, like everything you need for like the basic equipment, so the expense are not like, you mostly study during the day, and then like you don't have a lot of expense to make. But the supermarket and all of this stuff, it's kind of like Israel, I think, pretty much. So I mean, yeah, I don't feel it's a lot above Israel. I think it's pretty much the same amount of expense.
Like living in Israel. Okay. Romy, one more question. I know that your friend is studying in Pavia.
Yeah.
Do you have, because he couldn't join us today, do you have any feedback from him? If he's satisfied, if he has Israelis with him?
I don't know about the Israelis. I know he do like the university, but I don't know like how it is comparing to here. But what I do know from my Italian friends and comparing between a private school and public school is that you do feel here like you're in private school by the way that the professors, the teachers, and the staff of the university treats you. You feel like, I feel like the amount of money you pay here is worth it because you feel treated as like respectfully, if you get what I mean.
Yes. Romy, Mai is asking, how is it, or how do you learn anatomy without cadavers? Do you feel that?
Okay. So yeah, for me, it was a huge thing before I came to Italy. I was like, I thought it's the biggest minus of going to Italy, and I almost didn't come because of it. And like almost my last decision was between here and Czech Republic. And I was very upset about this side. And then I talked to some surgeon who is Israeli and he lives here. He came to study here in Pavia and now lives in Pavia. And I talked to him and I asked him how big it is, like how much does it like hurt you not to study anatomy with it. And then he told me that it might be like a very small minus to study it from the book at first, but eventually I want to be a surgeon. And when you're going when you're doing the surgery residency, you're going to have bodies to cut and you're going to practice. You're not going to first thing cut like a patient who is alive and you need to treat them. It's not like this. So eventually, as individually, I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. And so I made sure that I'm going to be well prepared to cut a patient that is pretty much alive and I want to keep him that way. So I wouldn't worry about it because I mean, I did, and then I understood how it really works and I understood that it's not a big minus. And then I don't know, you just learn it from the book. The technology is amazing, especially here in the university. It's crazy amazing. It's like, wow, you have all the tools that you need to study in a good way. And also I feel like I was a medic in the army. So whoever here was in Bad Esser, if you know, so I always felt in the army, like you need to do practice and stuff on the doors or like all the equipment. And they're always like very careful about everything. And you don't want to break anything, or you're like, you can't touch certain stuff. And here on the induction week, which is like a month before we start the real studying, they take you to the room of like the 5th year and they just show us what we're going to do like later, but you just say, yeah, it's here, go try whatever you want. And I practiced myself, the very good equipment they have here, and it was amazing. It was like, I don't know, as a person who want to be a surgeon, like going to this room, you see like everything that you want to practice in, if it's the sewing stuff, if it's the literally surgeries that you do with laparoscopy way, if you know what it is. And I don't know, all the, like, you are well prepared. I wouldn't worry about the section at all.
Thank you. Maura, Michelangelo, do you want to speak a bit about studying anatomy without cadavers? Because students ask that all the time.
Yeah, I would like to add something. Thank you, Romy, for the explanation and for your thoughts about the university. I know that this is a point really interesting for most of you. In Italy, I mean, first of all, we have inside of our university a simulation center, which is an area. We have the biggest one in Italy in our own university. And this area is dedicated to the training of students. It's composed by two main areas inside. It's divided in two. One is the simulation center properly, and the other one is called anatomy lab, and it's properly where we use cadavers. So it is allowed, but it is allowed for some specific training, especially at the 6th year and for residents of the hospital. So we have the possibility here, but there are two things that you have to consider. First of all, as Rami was explaining to you, we are talking about we are talking about anatomy. So we have the other tools, other technological tools that might give you the same level of knowledge without using cadavers. You have also to think about the ethic aspects of this choice. That is not our choice, is the general choice in Italy. So if someone decided to give himself for science, probably it's not just for a first-year medical students that want to study anatomy, because there are other tools to use. So he's giving himself for science, for high procedure, for specific surgical procedure. So this is also a thing that you have to consider why, when you are so interested in these kind of activities, that there is an idea behind the use of a human. In our case, also, we have a simulation center where we have high fidelity mannequins, which are mannequins really technological advanced. They're able to reproduce completely all the vital parameters of a human being. So you are going to practicing a lot also with these mannequins. And if you think, honestly, a cadaver cannot do anything. You can just to see what is probably done inside, but you can see that in other ways. Instead, with a high fidelity mannequins, you can have like a kind of relationship with the patients. You can really simulate to treat someone, to have a response from a patient. Instead, with the cadavers, you cannot do anything like that. So,
well, yes, and then let me add also that for me, for instance, in the second part of the year, which is the second semester, I mean, Romy and of course her classmates will have some practical classes on anatomy, which are also based on the use of 3D simulation, 3D software. Also, we did another investment it's called Anatomage. Anatomage is well, in its segment is very well known. Is more table is a big table where is placed a very strong computer. And this table, I mean, if you go there, you see a human being, and but as you will be a surgeon by using your finger, you will be able to do dissection also at different level. And for the first time in next semester, Anatomage will be used for first-year students in the practical lectures for the anatomy course. So let's say I understand that using of cadavers is a good point for learning anatomy. It's in my view, we can't deny this. If you have cadavers, could be a good point. But nowadays there are technology which at very large extent are able to be a replacement of the cadavers.
Yeah, especially in the first year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Add something, please.
Specialized procedure, of course, is really useful to have the possibility to use a cadaver. But for the first year of the medical school, the technologies can properly replace the use of them.
Yeah, I would love to add something, if I may.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So here's the thing. So hi guys. I didn't introduce myself in the start for the class itself. Again, my name is Yair, and I'm a second-year student. The thing is, I'm after the first part of anatomy. I finished my anatomy first part last year in the last semester. And you know, the level in which you know anatomy can only be compared to other people in the same position as you are. So I actually got to experience this type of questionnaire I did with friends of mine, which studied in Czech Republic and Croatia. And Israel, actually. Like I have a couple of friends. One is studying in Israel, and two are studying in Czech Republic and Croatia. And I was wondering exactly about what you guys are asking about the anatomical part. And I was wondering if after my studies without Cadavra, will my anatomical studies would be less deep than my friends which did have Cadavers. And so we actually did like a little, we have cards of Netter, which is basically a deck of cards that every student uses in his anatomical studies. And you just take out a card and you explain what are the complexes. And what we found out is that actually, I'm really, I assure you, what happened is that the level in which we are, like they want us to be at to pass the test in the end of the year, was much higher than the level that my friends in the Hebrew University had, like the knowledge, and they passed it as well in Israel. And the friends that I have in Zagreb, actually. The Czech friend was like in the same level. But when we're talking about the different vascular systems in the stomach, when we're talking about the layers of the anatomical structures, we had to know it by heart in such a profound way. We need to know every entrance and exit of every muscle in every angle, in which flexion, extension, and whatever. So it's pretty easy to actually check it in comparison with somebody in your like a peer, as you say. And we didn't have cadavers, but we know our anatomy back and forth. We know it amazingly. I'm sure to tell you that, because that's the system. That's how we study in humanitas. It's like, we'll give you everything you need. You can do it over and over and over if you fail, but the test would be very hard. It will be a heavy test. It will be not something easy. That's the thing, because you're not going to get eliminated from school if you're failing for the first time, the second time. But if you want to pass, you would have to know the material extremely well. All the little joints of the ankles, all the little... And right now, when we're studying neuroanatomy, we're studying every part, every little nucleus of the thalamus. Just for instance.
It's very clear. Thank you very much. I know that Romi's time is short, so I need to ask the next question.
I'm sorry.
Romi, students that wish to apply to Italy, one of the things that they hear is that medical studies in Italy are less structured. And in public schools, for example, some students graduate after 7 years or 8 years instead of 6 years. How is it in humanitas? Do you feel that the studies are structured and you are likely to graduate after 6 years?
Yes, of course. You have a lot of courses to do, but I mean, the university support you in any way to study it on time. I don't feel like I hadn't even thought about it, because I don't think it's something that might happen. I think it's all, if you study, and I mean, you need to study, and obviously, and if you study good and you make the time for it and you make it one of your first priority, basically. So of course it's something you can do. it's just up to you. I mean, if you study good enough, so you have everything. The university provides you everything. And it actually relates to something else that I wanted to say. I wrote down just to remember that, yeah. So the studying are hard everywhere you go. If it's Italy or like any other countries, because it's a medical school, it's hard. It's a lot to study, a lot, and it's hard. But I feel that this university gives you all the tools you need in order to do it as the best you can, like to fulfill your potential. And I really feel that as much as it's hard here, like I have friends that study in other countries as well, and I always hear their story and like we share stories and compare. And here the university really gives you all the tools and all the support you need, like everything you need in order to really just be the best of you. If you study, if you make the effort, the university gives you everything you need to just get to your goal and to your point. And Moshe, did you have more questions for me before I do other stuff that I wanted?
Thank you very, very much for joining, Omi.
Oh, yeah, I do have something to add. Yeah, okay, so just two things that was very important for me, so I would like to share it with you. Two things that was important for me with choosing university was beyond of the theoretical material that the university teaches you, which is good here, it's what kind of doctor the university raised you to be. And I feel like this is one of the best things for here, that I do feel they raise the doctors here to be amazing doctors who see the patient in front of them as a human being. There is a really huge stress about this. Here we have a lot of courses that regarding to this thing about how do you treat the patients and everything. And it was something that was really important for me, because I know there are a lot of universities that just make you like, you graduate and you can graduate with the highest grade in the world, but all you did was to memorize the things. And it's not just about it. You're coming to medical school, so you're studying how to be a medical doctor, which is not just knowing the material, but also how to treat your patients when you graduate. And I feel like this university is like making your potential as a good doctor, as the like patient and physician relationship as the best it can. And so this one was one thing, and the last thing is that I already said like that it was important for me that the university treats you like an individual. And I wanted to just give an example for you that I have an ADHD. I'm sure maybe some of you here listening to me have it too. And it's something that was a huge thing for me. I mean, it's the thing I struggle most with. And for those who have it might know how hard it is. And coming to med school to study for 6 years with it, it's something that is not so simple. And last exam we had 1 week ago, I think, a physics exam. And I never felt more supported and more understood by any of like teaching system, not in Israel, not in the psychometric, which also there I got a accommodation, but not as much as here. They really see that you're a person with a potential and you just need different tools, and they give you everything, all the tools that you need in order to just do the best of you. They really help you. They're here to help you to succeed. And if you give the best of you, you do everything you can. So the university just give you the wings to fly, basically. And that's it.
Very much. It's very clear. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Before we get back to you, Maura, Michelangelo, can you give us an insight about how structured are the studies? Because many students say that in public schools, medical studies can last more than 6 years because you can over and over and over repeat exams and repeat the years. How is it like in Humanitas?
Yes, let me say that according to our statistics, almost the totality of our students managed to graduate in 6 years. The percentage of students graduating in 6 years is about 97%, which is almost everyone. What you mentioned, just to let you know, is something which comes from the Italian regulations. That means, this means that differently from other countries, in Italy, you are not allowed, to tell the students after 6 years, you have to leave. You are forced to leave if you do not complete a certain, your exams. And in theory, this works also for Humanitas University, since we are under the Italian regulation, of course. But then the university should put in place, first of all, has to select the right students for the medical schools. Second, they have to put in place all the educational means and the educational, I would say, attention to its students in order to avoid this. And the result for Humanitas University is that 97% of our students managed to complete in 6 years. We have just few, and normally is due to, perhaps they take this few number of students, they might take 1 year more, but this is related to very specific personal or sometimes health situation of these very few students. But as I mentioned, almost the totality of our students complete in 6 years.
Can I add something regarding this aspect, Moshe?
Yes, please.
There's a big difference between the public university and our university in this aspect. If we have the public university usually are huge. So you are, and I studied in a public university, so in another field, of course, but I know the difference. So you are honestly a number. And you are in a group of in a huge group of students. So the possibility that you get a bit lost, especially if you're coming from another country, another culture, is really high. Instead, here the numbers are smaller. The class is really, the class is composed by 150. Every student in the same class know each other. The students, the professor knows the students by name. There is a really flat relationship between professor and student, and this is also not really common in the public university. So you can talk with them without any barrier. You can ask them to have meetings. You are going to spend all day here because you have mandatory lecture in the morning, in the afternoon. So you are probably going to live here. So I don't want to say that it's difficult to get lost, but almost, because your life is going to be really here. You're going to meet you're going to know your classmates. And also there is a cultural thing here is that you're not competing with your classmates. You are only one class, only one entity, and you're going together in the end of the medical school. So I think this is something that helps to be in time with your examination, instead of being just one number in a huge class. That might be the situation that you might face in a public university. So this is, I think, to clarify.
Thank you very much. Yair, you said that you have some insight about comparing some aspects between Humanitas and public schools. So yes, please.
Right. So I would have to agree with everything that Maura just said. I have some really good friends that are studying in public schools in Pavia mostly, and some in Milan and some in Rome. And as Maura stated exactly, I feel like all of them are saying the same things, which mostly summarizing, there is not any interaction which is personal between you and the professor. There is there is a bit of a competition going on inside the classes, and mostly the feeling that you are just a number. You are a part of a big mechanism. There's thousands of students, and you can basically, if you want to talk, like in Pavia, when I went there before I actually decided to go to study in Humanitas, I visited, I think, 6 or 7 universities in Italy. And all of the public schools, when I talked to Israelis, they said the same. They said, look, if you want to address a professor, you would need to go to the class representative. You need to email the class representative an email saying, I want to talk to Professor this, and write down an email. And the class representative would pass the email to the professor, which to me sound kind of not, there's like, can I not just come and ask him? And they said, no, absolutely not. And in Humanitas, there is, it's absolutely not the case. I would come and ask a professor whatever I want, whenever I want. We have a Q&A, which is question and answers on our, even in the Zoom, like in the Teams, we have a LMS, which is like an app for the school. And you have a question and answers of all the class that you can address, you can see it in your home page. And there's nothing like maybe half a day or a day when you post a question and when you get an answer. And obviously, if it's something private, you always can come in the end of the class or in the middle of the class or the start of the class and say, hey, can I talk to you about something? It's very, very personal. When we're talking about, that's one thing. The second thing is, as Moshe stated and everybody here stated, it's very construct and there is a lot of personalization. I talk to you guys a lot. I don't know who's here from the last last time we did the talk 3 weeks ago, a month ago. But again, the contact with the staff itself, with the dean. The dean is like the head of the school, which is incredibly personal. And yeah, that's basically the biggest.
Thank you very much. Maura Michelangelo, do you have a final message to our audience today before we end this session?
Well, our final message is that as the university, first of all, we really believe in being an international university, and the second, that we do our best to take care of our students first of all, for the educational needs, because creating and instructing very good doctors for us is our mission, but also for the personal, needs, and we also understand the different needs and what the students, especially students not coming from Italy, but also Italians. They need from the university.
Maura?
Yeah, I think we gave you a really good picture of the university, and we give you some good tips about aspects that you have to consider in choosing a university. The important thing that I always say to students is that, of course, you have to consider a university. So you have to think about the curriculum and how the educational project is structured. For instance, we use the problem-based learning. There are other universities structured in a different way. But please consider also the hospital, which is related with the university, because there are very good public university, even in Italy, but sometimes if you look at the educational project of them, it's not really clear which is the related hospital with this university. And in Italy, in general, the hospitals are good. So I'm not, the level of hospital in general is a good level. But of course, there are top level hospitals like the Humanitas one, and there are other good hospitals. And I think that in general, when you're studying medicine, you have to go straight to the top level hospital, and you should practice in the best hospital that you can achieve. And so please consider, when you are thinking about your future medical studies, consider the university, check the information about the university, but have a look also at the hospital related with the universities. So this is my final advice. Which I can say personally is very, very impressive in Humanitas. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for this session. It was very helpful. Some were here today and some will watch the recording. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, Yair. And I wish all of us good health. And if we won't see each other before, then Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. And even within these circumstances, I'm sure that you will enjoy with your family. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, students. Bye-bye.